today we're going to try to go through the answers for our review. I have a karyotype. This is your review paper, so we're going to go right through this and make sure everybody understands how we got the answers. We're looking at question number 1, where you're asked to look at a karyotype. Remember, this is actually a picture of someone's chromosomes. So if you'll go back and remember that we are supposed to have 23 pair of chromosomes. Question 1 says whether or not this individual is male or female. Well, if you look carefully at the picture you have on your paper, you see that there is a Y chromosome. The presence of the Y chromosome indicates this is a male. We look further at this picture and we can see that at chromosome number 21 here, there are actually 3 pieces of chromosome. This is showing us that this is a non-disjunction. That means that the chromosomes failed to separate properly, and likely this individual has Down syndrome. Question number 2 asks you to state the genotypes for the 3 individuals below. Homozygous brown. Well, we would have 2 capital B's because we know that brown is dominant to blue. Homozygous brown. Heterozygous brown. We have a capital B and a lowercase b. Heterozygotes always have 1 capital and 1 lowercase letter. Homozygous blue, 2 lowercase letters. Recessive always has 2 lowercase letters. You move up the paper. The next question. Define and give an example of the following terms. Sex-linked trait. Sex-linked traits, you remember, are carried on our X chromosome. Hemophilia is a primary example of a sex-linked trait. You looked at a pedigree in class, and we talked about how that particular trait was very common in the British royal family. We talked about that. Everybody remember. Cross-pollination. This goes back to Mendel. Remember, Mendel transferred pollen from one flower to another flower. That's called cross-pollination. And from that came most of his results with his pea plants. Phenotype, very important word. Phenotype is the physical appearance. Physical appearance. In other words, I can look at you and see your phenotype. Genotype, the genes. These are always written as letters. Possibly 2 capital letters for homozygous dominant, a capital and a lowercase for heterozygous, and 2 lowercase. On my paper, I have big B, big B, big B, little b, and little b, little b. Mutations, a change in DNA, or further, a change in genes. A lot of times these are considered to be mistakes. There can occasionally be good mutations. Problem 4. A cat, heterozygous for long hair and striped fur, is crossed with a cat, heterozygous for the same traits. Most important words, heterozygous. That means both of these parents are going to have a dominant allele, a recessive allele, a dominant allele, a recessive allele. They will be the same, heterozygous, because both of them are heterozygous. Parent genotypes, big L, little l for long, big S, little s for striped fur. Big L, little l, big L, little l. Big S, little s. Both parents, heterozygous for each of those traits. State the genotype, will any of the offspring of this cross have short hair and solid fur? Well, that would be the recessive trait. And since these are both heterozygous parents, we know that in a 16-square cross, a dihybrid cross, we'll have only 1 offspring that will be homozygous recessive. Its genotype would be 2 little l's, 2 little s's. Okay, I have to change pages. You're given a Punnett square. Examine the Punnett square above. State the genotype of each parent. Guys, remember that you can find the genotype of the parents by looking at the side and the top of your cross. That's always where your parent gametes are going to be found. If we look carefully at this, it becomes readily apparent that each of these have to have a big B and a little b, a big S and a little s. Okay? So it's going to be two heterozygous parents. Heterozygous for B's, heterozygous for S's. Capital B, little b, capital S, little s will be each of our parents' genotypes. State the genotype of the homozygous dominant guinea pig. It's the one I have circled. Two big B's, two big S's. State the genotype of the homozygous recessive guinea pig. Remember that word recessive tells you all the letters have to be small. Two little b's, two little s's. What is the phenotypic ratio for the cross shown above? This meets Mendel's law, where in a dihybrid cross of two heterozygous parents, there will always be a 9:3 to 3:1 phenotypic ratio. 9 of them will show the dominant phenotypes for both traits. Okay? Remember, 9 of them will show that one. Okay? Would the ratio remain the same even if the guinea pigs were mated 4 more times? Well, remember, this is 16 probable offspring. So that's telling you for 16 probable offspring, we got 9:3 to 3:1. So if we do it 4 more times, we simply are going to multiply that 9:3 to 3:1 by 4, and we will get 36 to 12 to 12 to 4. Doesn't matter how many times you cross it, that's what would happen. You simply multiply. And I know all of you can multiply much better than me. This is our last problem. Okay. A heterozygous guinea pig, big B, big S, little s, is mated with a guinea pig that is homozygous for B and dominant and homozygous recessive for S. Okay? So first thing you need to do is do what I do and figure out what your parent genotypes are going to be. Okay? And they're actually given to you in the problem. So all you need to do is put them over there. Don't mess that up. How many different phenotypes will be produced from this cross? Well, I gave you here an example of the cross. And remember, if you will separate your gametes properly, it becomes really easy to figure out where you're going to find those parent gametes. Okay? A big B and a big S, a big B and a little s, a little b and a big S, a little b and a little s. When you make this cross, then it becomes really clear to you where your phenotypes and genotypes are going to be. Looking at this cross, you should find that you would have 8 of those guinea pigs that would have the black phenotype with smooth, which the big S would be smooth, okay? Smooth fur, you'd have 8 guinea pigs that would be black, that would have the recessive phenotype, which would be 2 little s's. So if you look closely at those, that becomes pretty obvious to you that absolutely none of them are going to be white. And we have no homozygous recessive. Every single one of these has a big B in it. Okay? Our genotypes would be listed. There would be 4 different genotypes. Each of them would be represented 4 times. You guys, you also need to review your notebook for this test. You need to understand that you're going to need to be able to explain a deep understanding of homozygous, heterozygous, dominant, recessive, genotype, phenotype. Okay? You also need to have some understanding of mutations. You need to look back at the picture I gave you of pedigrees. Please study. Everybody do well. And remember, the test is on Tuesday, which when you watch this in class, that means it's tomorrow. Good luck.